says I'm connected again. Please hold. Let's see if this is a false alarm or if we're actually live. Thank you again for your patience, for everybody hanging out here. It says I'm live. Gonna go check now. Gonna take a look. YouTube is telling me that something went wrong. One moment, please. Hello. Oh my goodness. Hello. Sorry for these technical difficulties. Oh my goodness. Let me move some windows around. Yes, this is live because apparently the first live, YouTube decided, oh wait, no, you're done now. So this is now a new live. I'll figure that out later. So this is now a new live. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience. What day is it? Girl, I wish I knew. Show me a newspaper. I mean, would it really be the end of December without a massive technical difficulty like this? Good luck, everyone, with the link, because the link that I put everywhere is the link for the one that YouTube ended for me. This live is now a fresh new one. Hello. This be live, yes. Oh, thank you for being here. Aw. Well, the other one was live too, for about a minute. Oh, my hair was different. You went to another live. Thank you. Thank you for watching that one as well. Everything boosts the algorithm. Thank you. Don't stop. Don't. We need you here, as you are. Oh my gosh. Okay, you know what it's time for? Tea time. Here we go. Drop your shoulders and clench your jaw. We made it. Whew. Oh, that was a rough start. I almost canceled this one about 3 days ago because I got very sick. But then I started to feel better. And I thought, you know what? We can do this. So if my voice gets a little crunchy, that's why. Well, welcome to my last Watercolor Wednesday of 2025. I'm so glad that you could be here. Oh, it's so good. I'm glad the live sounds great and the music too. I'm glad everything's balanced. I'm glad everything came through. Because you know what? We didn't give up. And you're here because you didn't give up. Because you thought, you know what? This link doesn't make sense. I'm going to go find her on the other one. Thank you. Thank you for not giving up on me and my live stream. Huzzah. So, none of the information is in the link below in the description of this video because that was in the other live that was taken out. So this is just going to be freeform. However, if somebody does want to donate to the fundraiser, you can go to my website, Krisztianna.com, and it's right there on the first page. And whoever donates the most by $8.25 will receive this finished Krampus painting. It's Adventure Wednesday. Yes. Oh, Sarah, I'm glad you found the proper live, despite all the technical difficulties. I'm so glad you love this Krampus. The link to download it was in the other video, but if you go to my website, Krisztianna.com, thank goodness, it's all on the first page. The fundraiser, the busted link to the old live that I got kicked out of, as well as a very fresh and new link to this Krampus download. So you can download this, you can paint it digitally on your iPad, you can print it out on watercolor paper as I have and paint directly onto it. So we're going to start with this. I also have a second painting for when this is drying. It's just a little Christmas tree that's going to be pretty easy to fill in. That way you know how I like to work on 2 paintings at once. So here we go. Now when it comes to Krampus, we're going to do probably just 2 stages of the watercolor painting. The mushy part where everything is just kind of coalescing together. The colors are bleeding together. Once that dries, we're going to put in shadows. And then if we get to it, if we have time, we're going to do stage 3 where we put in the details, like her little makeup, her little eyeshadow, the details of little things. So for now, you get to decide on the 2 main colors that your Krampus is going to be. I'm going to pick classic brown and darker brown. You can pick anything. You can pick lavender and red. You can pick purple and green. And we're just going to create ombres so that she has kind of like that furry, thick fur kind of like front that goes to a different color in the back, and we're just going to work on that right now on her body. So just pick 2 colors that you want your Krampus to be, because we're going to paint her first. Oh, I'm so glad to be here. I'm glad we all made it. So let's see here. I'm going to go with my classic coffee brown, and I'm going to mix it with this blue that I have because I've been painting with this blue and I've really been loving it. And then I'm going to have that blue, and we're just going to fade to like a bluer brown in the back. So take any round that you feel comfortable with, that you feel you can kind of control, and start with, I'm going to start with the face because it's a lot of fun. And I'm just going to paint everywhere that's not her eye and her mouth. I'm going to paint her ear, not her little earring, and then all the way down her neck with just water. And then we're going to go in with the color. And some artists lovingly call this stage of the watercolor painting the ugly stage, when everything's mushing together. And this is the stage that usually gets people kind of turned off from watercolor because they're like, oh, it's not doing what I want. And if your ink is bleeding into your paint from your printer, I wouldn't worry about it because you just keep layering the watercolor, and if you trust the process, good things will happen. So now I'm going to water down, this is going to be the lighter color. I'm going to water down my brown a little bit. I'm just going to start painting it in where I had worked the water in. If you have too much water on your brush, just use a paper towel and dab it off on the side. Coming through? Yeah. And it's okay if it's patchy, if it's blotchy, if you actually pick up too much paint like I did. This is that stage. Alright, so now that I got the basic base color for her, I'm going to go in with that second color that I was telling you about, and I'm doing a bluish brown. And what I'm going to do is paint it into the back of her neck. the tips of her ears. Do some lines for the fur. Really get that texture of her fuzzy little back. And then I'm going to do a little bit under her chin. And because I'm a sucker for adorable animal creatures in the forest, I'm going to add a little bit of red to her nose. I already have that ready over here. And just let that kind of fade in there. And maybe a little bit of blush too, because she's cutie. And then that's going to kind of dry, and I'm going to now start working on the rest of her. So I'm going to go in with my water and just go all over wherever her body is. Again, it's okay if the ink from the paper bleeds, because you're going to start defining her after she dries. It's very hot in my studio, which is how I like it. So I'm not going to paint her arm too, because by the time I finish her arm, her body will be dry. And I want to get this brown on while her body is still in the damp stage. I promise you, it's going to work. Just trust the process. This is quote-unquote ugly stage. You're laying in a color foundation. You're painting the sunset. We're not worried about the clouds yet. All right, so I'm gonna go in with the darker color now, and I'm gonna paint into her back. Because anything that's on the tips of her ears, the ends of her hands, the ends of her back, that's where I'm gonna put the extra ombre color in. A little extra gradient. That's a little more purple than I want. I'm gonna add a little bit more brown. Now I had a lot of paint on my brush. I'm gonna take some of that off, right here. And the dark is blending into her shoulder, so I'm just gonna go with that. And then I'm gonna add some more to her little hooved hand situation, this pretend hoof thing, claw, hoof, hand. I'm going to follow that same kind of vibe for the arm that's holding the switch. Water first to help the colors blend. So I'm going to add a little bit more of that ombre into the end of her little hoof fist, hoof hand, hoof claw. Now I want a little bit more blue. And now for her lower limbs. Rinse, repeat. Water first. then we'll go on with the color. Her hooves, I haven't decided what color to make them yet, so I'm going to leave those for last. I'm not going to paint the hooves right now. I'm just focusing where all the fur is. See how my brush is picking up some of the ink and it gives me kind of a gray base? Totally fine. Different printers will have different effects with watercolor. After practicing with mine, I know that this light gray is basically anything I draw in ink at 50% opacity. I print it out and it creates a nice base for it, and it doesn't matter to me that the gray kind of bleeds in. And if your watercolor is starting to dry out quickly because it's warm when you have the heater on, just take some clean water and dampen it again. I've moved on to the tail so that I don't have a hard line. And now I'm going to do that ombre color, the secondary one, and I'm going to do it on the tips of the hair on the hooves and the bottoms of the legs and the tip of the tail. I want to create a design for a lavender Krampus outfit. So when I'm finally healthy enough to run a Santa marathon, I can go as a lavender Krampus, because that would make me laugh. But of course I'm going to have to design it first. So I'll have to create a couple of illustrations of the lavender Krampus. And then I can run with a switch. I wouldn't hit anybody with it though. But I think it would be funny. I love Krampus. I grew up with Krampus in our Hungarian household. My mom was not a fan. She thought Krampus was horrifying, so obviously I loved Krampus. I thought somehow in my little kid brain that Krampus was a protector, because if Krampus punishes the wicked and collects all the evil kids, then at some point in December all those kids that were picking on me would, be gone. And so at the end of December, when the mean kids were still there, I thought, oh, maybe they weren't as bad as I thought, because Krampus never took them and put them in a bag and beat them to eat them later. So I was like, they must, maybe they're not as bad as I think they are. They were pretty bad. But yeah, when I found out Santa wasn't real, oh, you don't have me turned up with other children, right? Well, if there's other children in the room, of course Santa's real. But when I found out when that Krampus wasn't real, I was very upset. That was very upsetting to me, because then how would the world stay fair if there was no one doling out consequences? So this creature is dear to my heart. Okay. Hooves and horns, I'm going to make them the same. I want to make them gold, because I want the little bells to be gold, and her horns to be gold, and her hooves to be gold, because she's just a fancy lady. You know, smiting the wicked and all that. You gotta look good. Let's go tiger yellow. And I think for the barrel, I'm going to do kind of a very, very light yellowy warm brown, so that everything's kind of in the same palette. And then the poinsettia and her eyeball and her tongue and her lipstick and her belts will be red. But you can do any color you like. So while that's drying, I'm going to turn her upside down because it's easier for me to work on her horns this way. And I'm just going to go in, start with water. It seems that my brush has decided to pick up a lot of other colors. There we go. So this Krampus that I designed, she doesn't prey on evil children, but evil adults. This particular one has amassed a great fortune at the expense of everyone around them, and she got them. Let's see, what can I paint next? I think she's dry enough here where I can start the barrel. The key is to not let your wets meet each other, because then they're going to want to hug. And that works in many cases, but right now I don't want the barrel to hug Krampus. And I'm going to just paint everything with water first, except the hand. A little bit of yellow. I'm going to mix my color right here on the paper. There we go. Just dull that yellow down a little bit. I might make those straps red in the end, we'll see. So just to show you another reason why I love mixing on the paper is this I mixed in the palette, so I've established a cool brown, because remember I mixed the blue with the brown. The same brown I'm mixing on the paper with the yellow, and it's a warmer brown. and I love the difference. And I think I'm going to make the wood a little bit more brown than the rest of the straps and the bindings of the barrel. Since I'm liking this warmth that's coming through, it's going to be different enough from her where I don't mind leaning a little bit more into the brown. And again, mixing right on the paper so I can get a feel for how much brown and how much warmth I want for this piece. And I think I'm going to make the barrel darker where it touches her body, just to see how that ombre works out. You know what? I'm going to do it on the two edges. I'm going to go darker on the edges of the barrel to kind of give it a bit of a form. But it's not necessary because we can always add that later. That's a good start for the barrel. And now this is all still drying here, so I'm going to move to her face. I'm going to do, because there's a lot of delicate work in here for the tongue and the teeth and the lipstick. So I'm going to do a different brush, smaller. Let's see. These are my newest brushes. I have buckets behind me of more brushes. These are the ones that I'm using for Watercolor Wednesdays because they're my not as busted up brushes. But never look down on a busted up brush. They are really, really good at texture, creating custom lines, bristle textures on the camera. Ooh, there you are. So this one's this used to be around. This is one of my newer brushes as in the last year. There's not much to explain. It's got a thin tip. Aww. So someone is sitting with their dog, their little pooch, while they're painting, and their little pooch just scattered all the brushes so that he could sit with them. And I just think that's lovely. That's what pooches do. All right, I'm gonna just flip it around again. I'm just gonna go pink. I have to be careful to go around these teeth, little teeths. You know, I was gonna give her a red tongue, but I'm kind of liking this pink right now. Pink kind of gives kind of a darling, sweet vibe when it's this kind of like a light powder pink. And I love the idea of having her be fierce and like deadly, and then have like a really, really pretty pink color on her. I can always make it red if I feel like that's necessary, because layering on darker on top of lighter is much easier than the other way around. I'm gonna get her gum line in. And just paint around her little white teeth. look at the wetness meter. Where does it shimmer? I think I can paint the green money right now. That's Christmas for ya. Green. I'm not wetting the paper first because it's such detail work that it won't take that long. And I can go in pretty quick. And since I have the detail brush in my hand, it should be all right. It's already 7:40, my goodness. But we did have a late start due to technical difficulties. Thank you for sticking to it. Money's done. I'm going to start painting the belts. I think the belts are ready. And I think this is the red that I want. It's the raspberry from before. Or is it too pink? What kind of red do I want? Let me see. Tahiti red. Alpine rose. Let's see about sunset red. Let's see if that's the one I'm feeling right now. I think I'm gonna have to mix my red. Let's go cherry red. And whoops. Well, that got everywhere. Yes. Okay. So cherry red was too pink, and sunset red was too orange. So I mixed the two. It's perfect. Now cherry red isn't everything, so that'll be interesting. I'm gonna start with one of the anklets because it's smaller, and then I can test my red. See how I like it. Yep. That's the one. So I'm very careful to paint around the bells. Typically I would do the red last because it's such a pigmented color that it can affect a lot of things around it. But the reason I'm doing this, whoops, now, is I want to know how dark to go on the shadows of her hooves. And I want to do those next. So the red gives me a kind of a vantage point to know how dark can I go on those shadows. But yeah, I'll find there's certain colors that have a pigment that like to get into everybody's business. Red, purple, black, anything really, really saturated. Like a light green, no problem. But a really saturated, deep green with a lot of pigment. If you paint next to it, it's going to start hugging. You just have to give hugs. Whoops. This is a larger area, so I'm going to start with laying down some water first. So I have a little bit too much water on my brush. It's turning into more of a pink. So I just wipe the water off my brush and fill up on more pigment. You'll notice that as watercolor dries, it lightens. So the color you paint with isn't the end result. It's all part of the mystery of painting with watercolor. At some point, with all this time I have, I definitely want to make a Krampus coloring book and just have all different kinds of Krampuses, different heights, sizes, weights, vibes, with all kinds of different bad people in the bin. Sometimes it's a sack, sometimes it's a barrel, and I'm just going to start painting the poinsettias because I'm ready. It's time. I started painting red and now I got to do the poinsettias. So the middle of the poinsettia is going to be yellow or white, depending on what I feel would work best. And I'm going to do my best to not get any paint in the middle. But it's okay. If it doesn't work out, we have gesso. We can always paint again with gesso. So I don't know if I want her eyeshadow to be more just indicative of her natural coloring, or if I want to go full drag. Make it like shimmery and sparkly. I do want a very red eyeball. I want her to be a little bit unsettling. So maybe I should start with the eyeball and then from there I'll decide whether I want just fabulous glitter makeup or all natural woodland creature. I'll figure that out as I go. And also for you, if you're unsure, just start lighter and then you can always add darker. Want more pigment, more. I'm putting more pigment on the tips of the petals. So I don't know if you can see the fine lines that I'm able to get. Funny story about this brush. I left it overnight in my paint bucket because I didn't clean it the same night, which is what you're supposed to do. And I didn't. And so when I brushed her, she came out bent, and she makes the perfect little tight lines. So she's really good at covering area. And then these tight little lines because of her little bend. So, I mean, it's just a story of imperfection being perfect. There you go. It's for you. And I'm just kind of smudging around with the petals because it pleases me. I don't really have any other reason. If you don't follow my work I can tell you right now, I have a thing for flowers. I delight in flowers. And this is what happens. I just get lost. Aww, she's so cute. Okay. Yay! So, someone said they laugh and they love it. So, that's a win for me. So, on her eyeball, you'll notice I have a pupil, which will be dark, her iris, which will be the red, and this little dot, which I will leave white, and that will be the reflection of a light source. It'll give life to her eyes. Bring her to life. Oh, yes. So in her case, I was thinking, do I want an ombre with the red? I don't want her to appear bloodshot, but I do want her eyeballs to be like vicious. Yeah, that's good. Yes, girl. Get that bad man. All right, time for lipstick. I can't help myself. It should be last. You can do it last. I'm gonna do it now because I need to dress this girl up. Get this baddie a nice look. Plus I can put my hand on the barrel now that it's dry. Go ahead and use this for the whole line of her mouth. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's the blood of her enemies. Merry Christmas. Yes. Okay, all right. It is 7:52. It is time for some shadows. Because if I start with the bells now, we might not get to the shadows. And we gotta get to the shadows for this piece to make sense. So this is the state of the, oh, what's going on? Everything's mucking together. So for shadows, you just use the same colors that you already had and you use them again. And I am going to pretend that there's a light source coming from around here, this direction, and I will show you what I mean when I say shadows. So wherever there is a line, like a chin, an armpit, an elbow, an ear, let's start with the chin, I draw that edge that's in the drawing, I trace it, and then I just put more thickness underneath it. Just kind of get a little bit of hairs going there. And I'm gonna repeat that all over this piece. I will show you again. Let's do the ear. Pick the bottom of the ear, draw that line, trace the line where the ear is, the earring, all that. Got that? And then you just get some hairs. Oh, this ear is over here. Let's pretend that ear is casting a shadow on the neck. So you just kind of follow that along. And if you're like, I need more hair, just add more hair. So this is how we create a look of a shadow, and we're just going to continue. So, ooh, this is what I'm going to do for her eye, which is not dry. So I will not touch her eye. I'll do her face last because I want that eye to be dry. I don't want that eye to hug any of my other colors. So now for the hand. the claw. So the underside, I'm going to kind of trace the rest of the lines on it as well to define it. And then let's see here, where would the best shadow be? So there's the arm, so the shadow would probably be best on the arm. And then also under the barrel. I think that's important. Get some hairs. Definitely the armpit. Define that armpit and just this entire triangle. So we're going to do this, continue with her arm. So I've got her little elbow here. So it's going to be the underside of everything. So here we go, underside of elbow. So the shadow would then be cast on her body below that elbow. And this is how we define shapes. Little hairs. I'm just going to darken this whole area here. This is why it's important to wait for the color to dry, because then you can add these little textures and extra lines and details, and you just work the painting like that. I'm gonna do her little booty. I do want her tail to be behind her, I guess you'd call that the ankle. So I'm going to darken the tail right behind her ankle there. And under the bell, hairs, 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 hairs. And then see, it just brings that ankle forward. And if I've got an edge where I'm just like, oh, that's not pretty, just add more hairs. Hairs, hairs, hairs. I don't know what to do with it, add texture. And then her little, this little area, you line the underside of the line, and then you bring the shadow down underneath it. Right now, I'm just reiterating the lines because I like the look of it. This isn't shadow. This is just line work that I'm adding in while I go to help those edges round out. I'm particular to this kind of style of painting. A lot of people don't like to outline their watercolor paintings, and they're beautiful, they look good. But something about the style of my art, I often prefer to do a line of some sort to finish out that edge. And I just kind of go, especially with watercolor, I don't use one color to line the whole thing. Wherever the shadows are, that's the color that I use to line it. So right now, if I come in with shadows for the red, which I will, I'll show you just for an example. I come in for the shadow, the inside of the bracelet here. Oh, they're bleeding together. It's okay. I didn't wait for it to dry. That's fine. I'm going to come in here with the red line, and I'm going to line the outside with the same color. And that's just the way I like to do it, but if you want, you can use one color and line your whole piece. That also looks good. It's personal preference. Since I'm down here, I'll line these hooves. Rather, the hairs. Ooh, I'm going to put a little shadow under the bells. That'll be cute. That'll really help the bells pop. It's the most overused word when I was a graphic designer and creative director. Can you make it pop? Usually means, can you add more contrast so that what's in front comes forward more and what's in back gets pushed back more? But it's easier just to say, make it pop. All right, we're going to do the same shadow on these little bells here. So I line the underside, and then I just add texture, texture, texture. I wasn't expecting the bells to be cute as white. I was gonna make them gold, but I'm kind of, if I just give them a gold shine but keep them mostly white, I think that'd be kind of cute. We'll see. I haven't decided yet. Okay. I'm getting really into it. Here we go, tea time. You know what that means. Drop your shoulders, relax your jaw, take a breath. Oh, I'm having ginger lemon tea, and it's everything my throat needs right now. Yes, with honey. Okay, back to our shadows. Kind of want to line these bells with a darker outline because I think the white's kind of cute. You can make your bells any color, but I think there's something very nice about it being the color of the paper. It gives them kind of a surreal quality. Yep. White bells it is for me.
The dreams.
Still doing gold hose though. Alright, shadows on the uplifted hoof. Draw a line.
The dreams.
Draw textures. Here we go. So in this case, where the underside of the raised hoof isn't on top of anything, it does need a cast shadow. And I am just doing line work. Now here where these two meet, and I've got this little bracelet here, I will add a little bit of an extra shadow here, just with lines. A little more line work here. So this is an interesting part. Technically her arm is in front of her chest, so her arm would be casting a shadow on her chest, but her chest is also upright and out, so we'll be catching a lot of light. So to make this feel in unison with the, oops, let me just add some more texture with what we're doing here. First, we're gonna differentiate the bosom. So I'm gonna draw the little line there, and the top of the bosom gets the light, the bottom of the bosom gets the shadow. So I'm literally just gonna paint some shadow in there. And then when that dries, I'm gonna come in with a secondary shadow from the arm, because we can layer, 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 layer. Might as well put a little extra in here, actually, while I'm here. You'll see that I'm lining this hand again because I want it to really come forward. So I'm going to give that line quality more pigment. So eye dry, almost. And we'll work on her hand that's holding the switch. I think I'm going to start with outline. And then I'll decide where the shadow goes. Because the arm is in the back and the tongue is going to be in the front, excuse me, it's that cold I was talking about. I'm going to go light on the shadow at first. And it's just going to be the bottom half of the arm. I'm going to start building that shadow as I see how dark I can go behind the tongue. Yeah. I think I'm going to continue the shadow behind the bosom on that arm and just do fur texture. Add more pigment. Alright, in my case, her torso is already dry, so I'm going to go in with that second shadow that I was talking about, which will be under the arm. And I'm going to start defining her face now that I think her eye is ready. I'm going to take this very pigmented brown and I'm just going to line her eye with it. And then I'll put the glitter on after. And I'll paint in her lashes. To her pupil. And then start getting the detail on her face with line work. So just tracing the drawing edges. With the thinnest part of a brush. Absolutely necessary that your piece be dry in these areas. Otherwise your line work will not work. And I'm just kind of going wherever it's dry, wherever I can define that line work. I'm glad I kept her tongue pink. Love her little grimace. Get that dimple in there. Yes. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're good, we're good. Okay. So the switch, it can be a reed. It can be metal. It's whatever you like. I'm gonna try to make it gold like her hooves. A golden switch. How appropriate for the greedy. Yes, they love gold so much. And beat them with it. And by greedy, I don't mean like the vice. Like, oh, I don't want to be as greedy of a person. You know, I want to be better. I'm talking about like the kind of greed that displaces entire economies, kind of greed, you know. Really bad greed. Not the imperfection in us that is human. Little gold hooves, little gold switch. I'm gonna put a little gold shine on these, rather shadow. It's what gives the feeling of shine, by the way. For you cannot appreciate the light without the darkness, you know? Very apropos to Krampus. So I'm just putting a little color in. So it's like it's shiny and reflecting. Her little earring. I'm going to make completely gold. And I think it's time to do a little bit of line work on that barrel. If I had more time, I would do the same shadowing as I did to her to the barrel. But for now, we're just going to do barrel line work. And I think it'll be fine. I will do a little bit of fake shadowing though, like on this edge. I'll make sure that line work is thicker on the bottom and thinner on the top. And that gives the appearance of a shadow. I'll do the same thing for the barrel. lines on the bottom I'll make sure I'll paint in thicker. And the lines on the top will be thinner. And then the rivets, I'll just fill in. I get a little quick wood grain in here, so I'm going to take a little bit of the lighter brown and just add in a little bit of extra lines. When in doubt, add texture. Shadow on the bottom thicker, lines on the top thinner. Do want to get to the horn texture. Yes, we will have time. We will have time. We can do it. Some more wood grain with lighter wood. Adding some quick shadows in areas where I know I will want them. I'm not painting the hand. I'm going to keep that the color of the paper. I'm going to use green to outline the money. Okay, now for the poinsettias in the belt. Red, 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 red. I'm going to cheat a little bit and put a little bit of blue in the red so that the purple comes off as darker than the red. I'm going to turn this so that my hand doesn't smear all this work we've been doing. The neat thing about watercolors, once everything is dry, you can keep layering if you want, and it really adds depth upon depth upon depth. When you do that, it adds a really lovely luminance to the piece. I think I'm going to keep the insides white of the poinsettias. Man, the Nahuatl word is actually slipping my mind. If somebody knows it, please type it in the chat. But it's the history of the flower is really quite incredible. Excuse me, my throat is getting rather dry. Lower your shoulders, relax your jaw, and take a breath. But I heard my kiddo calling for me. But I know Dad's got it under control. So I'm just going to keep painting because I'm almost done. Belt. Add a little bit more outline on this elbow here because I do want it to come forward more. I want it to kind of pop forward more, so I'm going to do that with a darker line. Okay. Oops. Then horns. 8:23. So while I'm painting, I would like to remind you all of the fundraiser where I am raising funds for Ventura County Food Share. And thank you for everybody who has already donated. The money is going to go a long way. They really make it last. It makes a difference. Due to technical difficulties, the link is not in this video, but if you go to my website, Krisztianna.com, it's scroll down, it's right there, front and center. The link where you can donate any amount that you are comfortable donating. Today is the last day for my fundraiser. It closes after today. And if you are able to donate today, I will be checking it at a little bit after 8:25 because I'm still working on this painting. And whoever was able to make the highest donation will receive this painting as a thank you. And if you have the time or the energy or the social circle, please share the link to my fundraiser to anybody who can donate to it today. Because the families will appreciate that very much. Every amount counts. And you're almost done with this piece. Oh, I'm so glad you like the colors. I almost made her all lavender, just so you know. I still might do that another time. I am partial to purple, if you haven't noticed. Alright, so this horn is in front of that horn, so I'm going to go over and make the front horn just a slightly bit darker. I'm going to add a little blue because our eyes naturally see blue and purple as darker sources, as well as red. Isn't that interesting? Okay. There she is, y'all. Little she Krampus. Ready to punish the wicked. In this particular case, those with a penchant for corporate greed. I will sign this, and then I will check the donations at the fundraiser. Thank you, everybody who showed up, who commented. Your support is felt and appreciated. I love having you here. And if anybody feels like it, you don't have to. If you did paint along, please send it to me. Just take a picture. You could DM it to me on Instagram. I'll keep it private. I won't share it with anybody unless you'd like me to, because that would be great. So just specify, not for social. Actually, I'll just assume it's not for social unless you specify you can share this. It's just, I assume that you don't want me to share it unless you tell me so. So let's have a look at the fundraiser. Again, go to Krisztianna.com. It should be on that first page. Actually, it is on that first page. I can tell you that right now. And let's do a little check. Oh, you guys are amazing. Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Sarah. Sarah, you're very generous, and you will be receiving this painting in the mail as a thank you for being the highest donation this evening. Thank you for everybody for showing up. Thank you everybody for your donations. You're going to feed a lot of families here in Ventura County. It makes a big difference. Sarah, I'll get your address from you later. Thank you everyone for showing up, and for those of you who have been here for every stream or almost every stream, you've really made these evenings a lot of fun. Thank you for your support. This has been a lot of fun. Next year, I'm probably not going to be doing live streams at the beginning, but if all goes well, I might be teaching in person somewhere in the valley, and I'll be posting that information on my socials. Yeah, Sarah, you get it. She said, yay. Yeah, so have a lovely holiday. I look forward to the new year. I hope you all get some rest. I'm glad to be coming out of this cold. And here's to you all. Thank you so much for making this delightful. I've really enjoyed this series. Happy holidays and Happy New Year. And one more. Relax shoulders. Deep breath. I'm gonna finish this tea. Take care and good night. Thank you.